You are now watching Farming with Duffy Ag. Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. As you saw in the previous episode, we went out fertilizing. So I'm back to feeding. I've been feeding all week actually. Today's Thursday. So it's a rainy day, so exactly what we needed after spreading fertilizer. So it'll help the plant absorb and utilize the nitrogen instead of having it oxidize and just waste all that money that we just put out on it. We'll get going feeding here, and I'll answer some of the questions and comments that I've been getting on the previous video as I go along. So a lot of people always ask, why do we not use the upright silos? Well, main reason, we can't store that much feed in them. We need like 6 or 7 of them just to store corn silage, and then another 2 more, 3 more to store of those sizes. If they were bigger, then maybe, but they are in no condition to be utilized. The roof, there's no unloaders, the floors, the structure of the actual upright silos. Plus we're not set up. There's no conveyors, there's nothing. And to get it out the doors, it would take a pile of money, and they're slow. They're really not ideal in my eyes. There is a lot of people that like it and that makes great feed. I don't like heights, so we're not ever using the upright silos. But with that being said, bunker silos have their negatives and things like that. When I said we don't use tires anymore, I meant we don't use tires, we use the cut tires, and that makes it a lot lighter. We threw that other pit in no time at all. In the previous video, I said I don't really like feeding green feed because the inconsistency of what it is makes the cow's ration go up and down. There's some people that are really good on daily chopping and green feeding. We're usually not. Plus, it's only green feed for a day or two, and then it's starting to ferment. So I'd rather feed fermented feed that we know what it is, and you have a balanced ration for it. So like on a day like today, stuff that got wet, like the straw, the apple pumice, all of that dry matter is out of whack. So you kind of got to have a guessing game, or you got to be able to coster cook it and see what the dry matter really is. We've never got into a coster cooker. I've thought about it. It's a management tool to tell you dry matter, and it cooks it down. I know people in ag bags use it quite a bit. A lot of farms use it quite a bit. But dry matter, because we're weighing everything, so if it's soaking wet, like this apple pumice, it was just stuck in my bucket. So if it's soaking wet, then it throws the whole ration off, which means you're under feeding cows, which then means yeah, they're hungry, they're not flowing, things like that. But we are going to have to green feed corn, so we'll chop just enough to feed for that day, because we're going to run out of corn. 100% on that. Another question that came up a few times: how many cows we feed? So we're milking 118, 120 right now. Nico's waiting for me to let him in. You want to come? Come on. Where you been? Hanging out in the barn? So, we're milking 120, just under, between 115 and 120 cows. Let me put you back up there. And my allergies are killing me. This weather should have cleaned out a little bit. There we go. So we're milking between 115 and 120 cows. 115 is really our number where we would like to be. Everything just flows well. Granted, you always are freshening cows in and drying cows off. And the cows do get pellet in the robot. There's some people that can get away feeding a mash. We like the consistency of pellet. When I worked for De La Val, that was a big thing. So they are getting a pellet in the robot that entices them and is part of their ration. Fresh cows, they're pretty much open where they get visits, they get pellet. And it limits how much you get per visit, dispense rate. It knows how much that cow actually consumed. So you can find cows that are sick. There we go. Didn't get enough corn. Off by 300. So it's a very big tool, but a nutritionist has to understand how to wrap their head around balancing energy then. So they do get a pellet. On average, they consume, in our layout, 7 pounds. We got farms that consume up to 10. It really depends layout and what you're utilizing for it. So, and I know there's barns out there that feed like 14, 15 as an average. Pellets a cost. It's an expensive cost. So we try to utilize as much as we can in the clunk because meals are cheaper. But with that being said, altogether we're just about 200 animals. When we were in our growing stages, we were 240 animals, but we've been not keeping as many replacements because we don't need the replacements because we have grown to our limit of how many cows we want. And somebody did say you should get a robotic mixer. I do believe that automated mixing stations are pretty nice, but in our layout we'd have to still cut blocks, move things. I don't think we'd benefit much. It really doesn't take us that long to feed cows. It takes me longer, one, because I'm remembering what I'm doing, and two, because I'm talking to a camera half the time. I guess probably all the time actually, but I'm glad you guys enjoy watching along. Otherwise I'd just be some crazy dude with a camera wandering around the world. So as far as grain and filling the bins, we got the 3 bins. We got robot feed, pellet, we got TMR meal, and we got canola or soy, whatever we're putting in it based on the market. That's usually every 3 weeks to a month. I'd say 3 weeks. We get a delivery depending on how much we're using, and it does move around. So the big bin's 24 ton of meal, and so 24 ton. What do we got? 24 ton, 12 ton, and I think the robot one is 9. It's 9 or 10. So of meal, I'm using 210 pounds 3 times a day. What's that equal? 630. So 630 pounds. Somebody do the math. But canola, I'm using more canola right now. So the big bin has always been meal, so that's why it stays like that. But all of it comes from Phoenix there. Same with the mineral packs, which has been good. Our nutritionist who does the feed program, like I said, is Joe Kip from Middlebury, Vermont, and he's our nutritionist. He's our guy that we talk to. So he sets up and designs the feed programs, and as things change, tweaks them to make sure the cows are good. And it's not just feed quality, it's like days in milk of cows, market. So if all of a sudden soy becomes cheap and canola is expensive, we'll switch that product. Somebody did ask what we got for a mixer tractor. When I jump out, I'll show you it. 2950. Did an in-frame on it, motor rebuild, and that was finished up. I don't know. I'm trying to think. God, my allergies are bad today. Oh. the shop for a year now. So, and it had like 13,000 hours on it. I don't know if my father bought that new, or how that worked out, but so we got that. And then the other question I saw, what was it? Oh, the heifer barns and drag house. So we built those cow huts and things like that. It goes back to, this isn't, if this was our property, we would have built a new heifer barn by now. They need it. It would make life easier and make cleaning easier, but it's not, and that it's been in the works, so nothing is in a rush at that point. But hopefully someday, make it more efficient, make it cleaner. Probably stick with sand because sand is nice, but alrighty, let's go mix some feed. What are you doing? Got a little loaded. Yeah, 2950. Not even sure because that's the last time the gauge worked. 13,500. And that was when we did the motor job. Yanko riding around on this doesn't really work out, so that's why he's still right there. Y'all didn't eat that little bit? You're gonna make me clean that out tomorrow, aren't you? Well, because I knew it was gonna rain last night, I didn't deface the feed. So I had enough for the first load, but now we're out of it. So we'll go deface it. And I didn't deface it because I didn't want a pile of feed sitting there that just got rained on and made it wetter. If it was in the bunk, it stays good. I pressed record and then it never actually recorded anything. I screwed up, so you didn't get any action on me defacing, but we'll look at the bunks because I was trying to do my best for you guys. I'll have to get some later. So the sides that have some nastiness on them, usually I scrape down some, but I'll feed it to the heifers. It's actually raining now, so we got to get going. Yeah, what a party. We did get like almost an inch of rain, I think, so far. That's what the gauge said. We'll check it when we leave. Got a heifer load to mix. Dry cows have enough left over from yesterday, which I figured that. There's not that many in that group. And then we got our second cow load, midday load to do. They are content. So as you see in a robot barn, not all your cows are eating at the same time. I was a little late this morning, light on the feed, so I did have more cows up than I wanted. But you can see there's a bunch laying down, doing cow things, milking. Feed pusher's running. It's raining out, so what we actually do is back the mixer and keep that load of feed dry. Well, keep it what it's supposed to be. Since they'll dump this in the middle of the day, and then we'll mix one more in the afternoon. We do 3 loads, so the feed pusher can push it up. So it's always fresh feed, and so that we can adjust accordingly so we have enough feed for them, because a lot of things fluctuate. Well, it's raining. I'm gonna head to work. Damn close to an inch. Holy smokes. Yeah, we got enough moisture. We need some heat. Need some heat. If there's any other questions as far as feeding, let me know. I still got 2 more days left of feeding, and then Francisco's back from vacation. Maybe I'll feed some more in the future, but it does take some period of my time. But things are a little slower right now. So we're not harvesting anything. Got a lot of stuff to repair, but I appreciate you guys watching, liking, subscribing. For those of you who are wondering, this is 115th video, consecutive daily upload video. So I appreciate it. I wouldn't be doing it without all the support you guys are giving me. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate it and have a good one.